Hi friends, today's pick a card reading is all about the career move that will change everything for you. If you've been feeling stuck, curious, or ready for a shift, this will give you the clarity and direction that you're looking for. If you are new to pick a card readings, here's how it works. The first thing that you're going to do here is you are going to pick the pile or the crystal that you are the most intuitively drawn to. We have pile 1 here with an Ammonite fossil. We have pile 2 here with citrine. We have pile 3 here with a shark's tooth. And we have pile 4 here with Apophyllite Chrysocolla. You can choose one pile, you can choose more than one pile, or you can choose all of them. It is totally up to you, but when you are ready, go to the description of this video, find the timestamp that is linked to your pile, and then you can skip ahead to your reading. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. It is such an honor and a privilege, and I will see you on the inside. Hi pile 1, hey friends, welcome to your reading. Let's first talk about the leap of faith. We'll talk about what kind of move this is. Is it a new industry? Is it self-employment? Is it a passion project? We will find out. We have Death reversed here, and it says Death Valley National Park. So this can talk about resistance to change, having a fear of endings, or clinging to old structures or identities. So this could talk about a leap that might feel scary because it demands you to let go of your comfort zone, but I think that avoiding it prolongs that stagnation. So I think that you're being nudged towards some sort of reinvention, but part of you could be resisting leaving behind something that feels familiar. Maybe this is a job or a certain role or an identity that you carry. For example, maybe you stay in a steady corporate job, but secretly you've been yearning to go freelance, and maybe the leap is finally breaking away despite that fear of instability. Or maybe some of you here are teachers who are resisting leaving the classroom, but you're feeling called to transition into educational consulting. Maybe some of you here are stay-at-home parents who resist stepping into an independent career, but deep down you know it's time to reclaim your own identity. We also have deep sleep, resting and sleeping deeply. So this could talk about rest, surrender, and integration. Before you take this leap, your body and mind will probably require you to pause in some way. I feel like big change doesn't come from overexertion, but it actually comes from deep renewal. So your next move might emerge not during hustle, but after a season of rest or reflection or even burnout recovery. I think that maybe some of you here have been going through some sort of long period of overwork, whether this is in healthcare or whatever industry that you work in. So for example, maybe some of you here have experienced a long period of overworking in, let's just say something like healthcare, and then you take a sabbatical to rest, and this leads you to clarity about starting a wellness coaching business, and then it just takes off. Or maybe some of you here are burned out entrepreneurs who pause to deeply rest, and during that stillness, new creative ideas for a more aligned venture appear. Maybe some of you here are parents who are overwhelmed with your caretaking duties, and you finally prioritize rest, and this leads you to insights about starting a career in family support or maybe in holistic services. Next, let's talk about the strategic pivot. We'll talk about how this will open up unexpected doors for you and what support and resources will help you to succeed. We have the 9 of Vessels here, and this is the 9 of Cups. So this can talk about wish fulfillment. It can also talk about feeling emotionally content and having your dreams realized and manifested. So I think that the pivot is going to open up paths to your dream opportunities that you may not have even believed were possible in the first place. I feel like this move will finally give you that sense of like, I finally got what I always wanted, fulfillment, not just payback. So for example, maybe some of you here land a dream role where you teach yoga at a resort, or you become a published author, or you start a small but thriving creative business. Or maybe some of you here create a coaching practice where you set your schedule and you feel valued and you work with your ideal clients. Maybe some of you here would be drawn to pivot into a role that allows you to express creativity like interior design or photography or content creation. We also have in the flow, everything is smooth sailing. I love that we have like everything is smooth sailing, and we've got these people paddleboarding. It looks like a mom paddleboarding with her son and her dog. And yeah, I just feel like this is you trusting the current. This is you surrendering control, because when you feel aligned, opportunities are going to come endlessly. So instead of you hustling endlessly, I think that your pivot is going to succeed by letting synchronicities guide you, and doors are going to open naturally. So maybe some of you here casually post your creative work online and a client reaches out without you ever pitching it. Or maybe a friend refers you to a role that feels perfectly aligned, no lengthy job search required on your part. Or maybe some of you here create content for fun and it unexpectedly builds an audience and it supports that career shift that you've been looking for. Next, let's talk about the alignment move. We'll talk about the career change that will bring you closer to your purpose and your values and why this feels deeply fulfilling and sustainable to you. We have the Empress here, and this says Olympic National Park. This is all about abundance, all about creativity, pile 1. This is about nurturing and fertility. And I think that Olympic National Park represents growth in you immersing yourself in nature, in beauty, or maybe that's something that's connected to your work. I think that this move involves you creating, nurturing, or building something that really does feel beautiful and nourishing, whether this is art or healing work or eco-conscious work. Maybe some of you here launch a handmade goods business where you have art or jewelry or sustainable fashion that merges your creativity with abundance. Or maybe some of you here start a wellness-based career, something like therapy or yoga teaching or holistic nutrition or maybe herbalism or tarot and oracle card reading. Whatever it is, I just feel like you are going to be focused on the well-being of those around you. Maybe some of you here would be drawn to create retreats or nature-based programs or eco-ventures that are inspired by your love of the natural world. We also have the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. This represents the grind ending. This talks about your burdens lifting. I think after a long period of effort, you are going to reach a breakthrough, pile 1. Your alignment move feels sustainable because it ends years of burnout or overwork. Capricorn here shows mastery and structure and eventual reward. So for example, maybe after working like 60-hour work weeks, you transition to freelancing, earning more while you work fewer hours. Or maybe some of you here complete a degree or a certification after years of effort and you finally step into your dream profession. Or maybe some of you here have had a struggling side hustle that finally turns profitable and it allows you to leave an exhausting job. Next, let's talk about the breakthrough opportunity. We'll talk about why timing and readiness matter here, and we'll talk about what life will look like after saying yes. We have the Lovers, Niagara Falls State Park. So this is all about heart-centered decisions. This is about you having your values in alignment, and this is all about powerful unions as well. I think that with Niagara Falls energy here, this emphasizes that energy cannot be stopped once it's released. I think that the breakthrough comes when you choose with your heart and not fear, and powerful synergy is going to flow in. Maybe some of you here will partner with someone who shares your vision or create some sort of powerful joint venture or business. Maybe some of you here will be choosing the aligned but risky job like life coaching or creative work over the safe but soul dead type of role. You know what I mean? So maybe some of you here could be saying yes to visibility, things like podcasting, YouTube, public speaking, and really just attracting opportunities that are aligned with your truth. We also have Pillar of Light, your vibration is rising, you are the Oracle. So I think it is pretty self-explanatory here. Your vibration is rising, pile 1. You are stepping into higher purpose and authenticity. So I feel like you saying yes to the opportunity is going to elevate your life. You're going to have greater visibility, things like leadership, and this magnetic presence that really draws other people in. I can see some of you here being a thought leader in your field. Again, maybe content creation, coaching, teaching, because you dare to share your authentic voice. Maybe some of you here are going to be transitioning into spiritual or healing work where your inner growth becomes your outer career. Maybe some of you here will step into a leadership role where others look to you for inspiration and guidance. Let's also get some additional info here. We have water, dolphin, and so this is all about play. This is all about joy, things like communication, emotional connection, and your intuition. So your career is going to thrive when you infuse playfulness and creativity and connection. This isn't about grinding alone, but it's about community and joy. So maybe this looks like you hosting group experiences, things like retreats or classes or workshops that blend fun and healing. Maybe some of you here want to start a community-centered business, something like a podcast or a creative hub or an online community. Or maybe some of you here want to build a career in storytelling, something like teaching or public speaking, where communication is both playful and powerful for you. Let's also roll some astro dice to get more info for pile 1. Okay, so we have the sun in the second house. Your life-changing career move is going to come when you step into ownership of your worth, literally and figuratively. You shine when you create your own source of income and when you showcase your talents and build stability through what you personally value. So I think that the career moves that change everything for you are either going to be you starting your own business or personal brand, again, something like a YouTube channel, coaching, some sort of creative service. I think that many of you here are going to be moving from employee to self-employed or freelancer, something where you can really own your earning power. I also think that some of you here could be turning a natural talent, something like your voice or design, maybe beauty, food, or teaching, into a viable income stream. And I also think that some of you here will be drawn to investing or managing money, something to do with finance, real estate, maybe luxury goods. For example, I'm thinking about Rihanna, right? She launched Fenty Beauty and turned her self-expression into wealth. Or if you think about Oprah, she built the OWN network and really monetized her voice and her values. Or you can even think about somebody like Kylie Jenner, who created Kylie Cosmetics and really made this like self-made empire built on a personal brand, right? So not to say that I'm promoting any one of those people, but the theme here and the key here is that when you own your value will grow. Thank you so much, friends. No matter which pile you chose, remember that the right career move isn't just about work, but it's about creating the life that you dream of. Your shift could come through bold leaps, small pivots, or unexpected opportunities, but the common thread is that it will change everything for you. Let me know which pile you chose and what resonated most in the comments. I love hearing your stories, friends. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs encouragement today. And if you feel like going deeper, I've got my private readings, my online shop, and my podcast all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm so honored to be connected with each and every one of you, friends. I'm sending you lots of love, Tidal fam, and I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all. Hi, Pile 2. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's first talk about the leap of faith. We'll talk about what kind of move this is, whether this is a new industry, self-employment, maybe it's a passion project. We'll find out. So the first card that we have here is the Devil, and it says Carlsbad Caverns National Park. So I feel like this is all about breaking free from entrapment, things like unhealthy attachments, any sort of fear-based career choices. I think that with Carlsbad Caverns, this energy and the imagery really speaks to deep hidden places. And I feel like this leap is going to be into the unknown after facing shadows. So I think that the leap here is to break free from work that feels draining or controlling or purely survival based. The move is daring because it challenges fears around money and authority or what's safe. Maybe some of you here leave a high-paying but soul-crushing corporate job to launch your own heart-centered business. Or maybe some of you here walk away from a toxic workplace. Maybe some of you here have a micromanaging boss, or maybe some of you here are experiencing some unhealthy workplace culture and you want to step into a more authentic role. I think that many of you here are going to be releasing an over-reliance on stability, like staying stuck in admin or retail, and really pursuing creative self-employment despite your fears. We also have Moon Money, allowing the flow of abundance. So this is all about you releasing scarcity. This is you letting abundance flow instead of gripping tightly. The leap is not just external, but it's internal. I think that this is you shifting from survival to trust. So maybe your next career move requires shifting your money mindset, really believing that you can be supported in the work that you love. Maybe some of you here are artists who always believe that there's no money in art, but then you finally sell your work and you realize that abundance is possible. Or maybe some of you here are stay-at-home parents who start freelancing online and you start seeing money flow in unexpected ways or unexpected contracts. Maybe some of you here are going to be transitioning from underpaid service jobs into consulting or charging premium rates and receiving clients easily. Next, let's talk about the strategic pivot. We'll talk about how this will open up unexpected doors for you and what support and resources will help you to succeed. We have the Six of Vessels, and this is the Six of Cups. So this is all about nostalgia. It's about innocence, past connections, and gifts from the past. I feel like unexpected doors will open when you revisit something that you once loved or when you reconnect with old networks. So maybe a childhood passion or an old skill or a former contact will resurface as the golden key to your next career move. Or maybe some of you here rediscover your childhood love for writing and you turn it into a freelance or an author career. Maybe some of you here reconnect with an old colleague who offers you a partnership or a job in a new field. Maybe some of you here revive a forgotten creative skill like music or dance or painting that becomes the basis of your income. We also have staying focused, hold the course. So this is all about you not letting distractions or doubts pull you away. I think that focus is going to be your greatest resource. And even when progress feels slow, consistency and focus will attract the resources for you, and it will keep the momentum flowing for you. So for example, maybe some of you here build a YouTube channel and you resist the temptation to quit before monetization kicks in. Or maybe some of you here consistently create art or offerings even when sales are low, and it eventually builds loyal clients. Maybe some of you here are going to be sticking to a long-term vision like writing a book or building a course or resisting the pull of quick fixes. Next, let's talk about the alignment move. We'll talk about the career change that will bring you closer to your purpose and your values, and why this will feel deeply fulfilling and sustainable to you. We have the Queen of Vessels here, and this is the Queen of Cups. This is all about emotional intelligence. This is about compassion. It's about healing and really using your intuition. This is all about tapping into work that nourishes both you and others. I think that the aligned career for you is the one where you get to use your empathy and your creativity and your intuition. I think that any sort of profession that helps or heals or inspires others is going to be great for you. So maybe some of you here want to become a therapist or a coach or a counselor where emotional intelligence is central to everything. Or maybe some of you here want a career in the creative arts, maybe something like painting or writing or music where you channel your feelings into beauty. Maybe some of you here will be doing spiritual work, things like tarot or astrology or energy healing, where your intuition becomes your livelihood. We also have emotions are running high, supermoon. So this is all about a time of heightened emotions, big breakthroughs, and dramatic changes. So this alignment move feels intense because it's not a small shift. It's actually this huge turning point in your life that changes everything emotionally and practically. So maybe some of you here will finally launch a long dreamed of project like opening a wellness studio after years of waiting. Or maybe some of you here will be walking away from a long career and stepping into something that feels both exhilarating and scary, like moving into content creation full time after leaving a 9-to-5. Maybe some of you here are going to be receiving sudden recognition, viral content, or a major contract or a job offer that pushes your career forward because you have a reputation for honesty and integrity, and that speaks louder than the competition. We also have dance with life, do something to change your energy. So this is all about play. This is all about joy and embodiment. Your breakthroughs are going to come when you shift your energy physically and emotionally. Because saying yes requires not just paperwork or strategy, but actually embodying joy, creativity, and presence. Maybe this is you loosening up and letting yourself experiment with playful content online, which unexpectedly takes off. Or maybe some of you here shift your daily energy with movement or dance or joy rituals that inspire your creative breakthroughs. Maybe some of you here are going to be changing your routine, things like travel or your new environment or playful hobbies that sparks career clarity. Let's also get additional info here. We have Fire, 9, and Red Fox. So this is all about energy. It's about passion, it's about cleverness and adaptability. The fox adds this air of resourcefulness, and the fire element adds this drive to everything. So success in this career is going to require you to be agile and clever and strategic and really have this passionate energy. I think that you're going to thrive by staying sharp and adaptable. Maybe some of you here launch a passion-driven business, something like art or fitness or coaching, with bold energy and clever marketing. Or maybe some of you here adapt to the digital landscape, like pivoting quickly into online offers or freelancing or content creation. Maybe some of you here are going to be using wit and creativity to stand out in a saturated field, and it really carves out this niche that feels uniquely yours. Let's get some additional info here. We have the moon in the 7th house. I think that the career move that changes everything for you is one that's built around relationships, emotional connection, and collaboration. Pile 2, you are going to rise through partnerships and clients and audiences who feel emotionally understood by you. Maybe some of you here, again, would be drawn to being a therapist or a coach where you build a practice through one-to-one deep client trust. Maybe some of you here would be drawn to being a YouTuber or a content creator, again, sharing personal, relatable stories that connect with others emotionally. I can also see some of you here being in public relations or being a branding strategist where you shape emotional resonance between brands and people. I can also see some of you here being a mediator or a counselor where you use empathy to bridge conflicts or perspectives. I also feel the energy of some of you here being an event planner or like maybe working in the wedding business where you craft these emotional experiences that bring people together. So pile 2, I feel like your success is going to come when you stop going at it alone and when you start building with or for others. Thank you so much, friends. No matter which pile you chose, remember that the right career move isn't just about work, it's about creating the life you dream of. Your shift could come through bold leaps, small pivots, or unexpected opportunities, but the common thread is that it will change everything for you. Let me know which pile you chose and what resonated most in the comments. I love hearing your stories, friends. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs encouragement. If you feel like going deeper, I've got my private readings, my online shop, and my podcast all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm so honored to be connected with each and every one of you friends here. Lots of love, Title Fam. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all. Hi, pile 3. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's first talk about the leap of faith. We'll talk about what kind of move this is, whether this is a new industry, self-employment, maybe it's a passion project. We will find out. We have the 9 of Stones here, and this is the 9 of Pentacles. So this represents independence, self-sufficiency, and financial stability through your own efforts. I think that the leap here is into self-employment or freelancing or really building your own venture. This is all about relying on yourself, not a company, to provide you with wealth and the lifestyle that you've been looking for. Maybe some of you here will leave a corporate role to start your business or consultancy, and you gain independence and control over your income. Maybe some of you here turn a creative side hustle, something like your art or YouTube or handmade goods, into your main source of income. Maybe some of you here are building financial freedom through real estate or investments or independent online work. We also have belonging, healing, in community. So success doesn't happen in isolation. Your leap is also about finding your community and your support system. I think that even though you're stepping into independence, you are going to thrive by connecting with a community of like-minded people who affirm your belonging. I think that some of you here would benefit from joining a mastermind or a networking group that connects you with supportive entrepreneurs. Maybe some of you here are going to be building a client base that feels like community, people who resonate with your work and your values. Maybe some of you here are going to be transitioning into a role in community building like wellness groups or group coaching or online membership platforms. Next, let's talk about the strategic pivot. We'll talk about how this will open up unexpected doors for you and what support and resources will help you to succeed. We have the 6 of Blades in reverse here, and this is the 6 of Swords in reverse. So this can talk about a difficulty with moving on, or this fear of leaving the familiar and having this resistance to change. Maybe the pivot feels uncomfortable because it requires leaving behind what you know. But just know that unexpected doors are going to open only after you release your attachment to the old way of working. Maybe some of you here are hesitating to leave a steady job, but once you commit to freelancing, unexpected clients appear. Or maybe some of you here are struggling with letting go of a professional identity like teacher or manager, but opportunities come when you embrace the new identity. Or maybe some of you here have a move to self-employment that feels messy at first, where it feels uncertain and you feel the fears, but soon after, new resources and referrals appear. Now, I just want to make a disclaimer. If you are, say you're working in a corporate role or a regular 9-to-5 job and you want to, take that leap into self-employment, I literally would not recommend you just taking the leap when you don't have some sort of savings or a nest or something to keep you afloat, because the weight of financial struggle and drowning in that when you have no clear plan and zero clarity on action steps to take in order to really bring in income every month so that you can pay your bills and have a life, that will be draining. So this is not to say like take the leap, throw caution to the wind, and just leave your job and who cares about the money. Like, I'm not saying that at all, right? Like, definitely my channel is like this intersection between logic and intuition, and so I think that this is encouraging you to take that leap, but don't be afraid to have a part-time job at the same time. Don't be afraid to save up. Maybe some of you have saved up somewhat of it like a nest egg, but I'm just saying that like we are big fans of being Delulu on this channel so we can manifest our dreams, but we're also big fans of not rocking our nervous systems and leaving ourselves in weird, unsafe, and unstable conditions. So I just wanted to say that. Next, we have unknown territory. This one says you are exactly where you need to be. So with this, even if it feels unfamiliar, just know that you're being guided. The unknown is a part of the process, pile 3. I think that you won't have the whole map at first, but trust that being in this unknown territory is exactly what leads you to breakthroughs. Maybe some of you here want to start a business without knowing every step, and you realize that support and clients show up along the way. Maybe some of you here are going to be moving into a new industry, something like wellness or digital media, where you feel unqualified, but your fresh perspective becomes an asset. Maybe some of you here are going to be saying yes to a contract or a role that you've never done before, and you're going to discover hidden talents through experience. Next, let's talk about the alignment move. We'll talk about the career change that brings you closer to your purpose and your values, and why this feels deeply fulfilling and sustainable to you. We have the Ace of Blades in reverse here, and this is the Ace of Swords in reverse. So this could talk about mental fog, feeling delays in clarity, and maybe even having a difficulty in expressing your vision. So the align move is going to require you to clear limiting beliefs and really sharpen your truth. I think that your success, especially like sustainable success, is going to come from cutting through any sort of confusion and finally articulating your mission. Maybe some of you here are going to be gaining clarity about your niche after struggling to define your offerings as a coach or a creator. Maybe some of you here are going to be letting go of overthinking and perfectionism, and you're finally going to be launching your service or your product, even if it's not fully clear. I also think that this is you overcoming self-doubt about your communication skills and realizing your authentic voice attracts others. We also have your hard work is paying off, new moon in Capricorn. So this is all about you having progress that's happening behind the scenes. Even if clarity feels slow, your dedication is going to lead to results. I feel like this is here because this is reassurance that the effort that you've been putting in, whether this is your skills or networking or content or, you know, your business setup, I think that whatever it is creating long-term success. Maybe some of you here slowly grow a YouTube channel or an online presence, and then you suddenly hit a tipping point in visibility. Or maybe some of you here stick to freelancing despite a rocky start, and eventually you build consistent clients and income. Or maybe some of you here complete certifications or education or groundwork that pays off with a stable career shift. Next, let's talk about the breakthrough opportunity. We'll talk about why timing and readiness matter and what life will look like after you say yes. We have the 8 of Sticks in reverse here, and this is the 8 of Wands in reverse. So this could talk about delays, slowed progress, and timing that isn't quite immediate. The breakthrough might come slower than you expect, but just know that it's going to be long lasting. I think that this isn't an overnight success. It's about pacing yourself and preparing for when the momentum suddenly speeds up. Maybe some of you here launch a business that takes a year to gain traction, but once it does, growth is going to snowball quickly. Maybe some of you here build a brand presence online slowly, and then you have a viral moment that really accelerates your opportunities. Maybe some of you here are taking longer than expected to land your first big client or contract, but once it comes, then the referrals are going to flow in consistently. We also have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So this is all about you having freedom from old limitations. This can represent a karmic release and stepping into your authentic power. I think that the breakthrough is going to come once you release old patterns of overworking or people pleasing or scarcity thinking. I think that saying yes means freeing yourself for good. Maybe this looks like you breaking the generational pattern of staying safe but in unfulfilling jobs by choosing entrepreneurship. Maybe some of you here are letting go of undercharging for your work and finally settling rates that reflect your worth. Maybe some of you here release the belief that You need external validation, and you create your career path from inner authority. Let's also get more information here. We have water, otter. And so this is all about play, joy, things like curiosity. Otters are the type of animals that thrive in community, and they have this sense of fun. So I think that your career path should include joy and play and not just grinding. I think that you're going to do your best work when it feels lighthearted and creative and connected. Maybe some of you here create a playful brand presence that attracts clients who love your vibe. Maybe some of you here want to build a career that allows time for family and community and not one that isolates you. Maybe some of you here are going to be infusing your work with curiosity and joy, like maybe gamifying your content or making your offerings fun and interactive in whatever way feels best to you. Let's also get some astro dice here. So we have Venus in the 12th house. So the career move that changes everything is probably going to involve some sort of working behind the scenes or healing, or maybe working with art, or again, some sort of compassionate service where you turn solitude and empathy or spirituality into success. I think that some game-changing moves for you could be starting a creative or spiritual business. Maybe it's art, music, photography, design, some sort of intuitive healing. Maybe some of you here want to become a therapist or a counselor or a spiritual guide who helps others process emotions. Maybe some of you here would be drawn to work in film or charity, maybe hospitals or retreats, something that's a bit hidden yet deeply meaningful as a space. I also think that this could represent you turning a secret passion or a private talent into your main career. So for example, think about Adele. She has her Venus in the 12th house, and she turned her private pain and hidden emotions into this global work of art. Princess Diana has her Venus in the 12th house, and she channeled compassion and empathy into her humanitarian work. There's also people like Frida Kahlo, who has their Venus in the 12th house as well, and she transforms suffering and solitude into timeless art. So thank you so much, friends. Remember that no matter which pile you chose, remember that the right career move isn't just about work, it's about creating the life you dream of. Your shift could come from bold leaps, small pivots, or unexpected opportunities, but the common thread is that it will change everything for you. Let me know which pile you chose and what resonated most in the comments. I love hearing your stories, friends. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's in need of encouragement today. And if you feel like going deeper, I've got my private readings, my online shop, and my podcast all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm so honored to be connected with each and every one of you friends here. Lots of love, Tidal fam. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all. Hi, Pile 4. Hey, friends. Welcome to your reading. Let's first talk about the leap of faith. We'll talk about what kind of move this is, whether this is a new industry, self-employment, maybe it's a passion project. We will find out. We have the 10 of Blades in reverse here, and this is the 10 of Swords in reverse. So this can talk about recovery after going through a painful chapter, whether this is burnout or a toxic work culture or constant setbacks. I feel like the move isn't about avoiding endings, but it's about turning endings into new beginnings. So maybe some of you here re-enter the workforce after a long break, but on your terms. Or maybe some of you here leave a high-stress job to pursue a healthier career path. Maybe some of you here start over in a field that you once felt rejected by, but now you feel wiser. We also have Moon Pebbles, challenging yourself with compassion. So I feel like this is encouraging you to meet challenges with compassion. I feel like you don't need to bulldoze your way through. I think that gentleness with yourself is the fuel that actually makes this leap possible. Maybe some of you here launch a passion project while pacing yourself instead of pushing to exhaustion. Or maybe some of you here balance ambition with rest and kindness to avoid past mistakes. Maybe some of you here let yourself learn and make mistakes in a new role without shame. Next, let's talk about the strategic pivot. We'll talk about how this opens unexpected doors and what support and resources will help you to succeed. We have the 7 of Stones here, and this is the 7 of Pentacles. So this represents slow growth and steady investment. I think that doors are going to open gradually through consistency and patience and not instant results. I think some of you here could be building an online business that takes months of steady work before income becomes reliable, but it'll pay off. Or maybe some of you here are going to be dedicating yourself to training in a new field that pays off later. I can also see some of you here growing an audience or a client base organically rather than chasing quick wins. We also have solitude. In silence, peace prevails. So pile 4, your best resource is quiet reflection. Space to be alone, to think and to plan will allow you to realign and to listen to your intuition. Maybe some of you here take regular retreats or breaks to brainstorm ideas. Or maybe some of you here work best when you have independence rather than constant team pressure. I wonder if some of you here would be drawn to journaling or meditating on your next steps instead of rushing them. Next, let's talk about the alignment move. We'll talk about the career change that brings you closer to your purpose and your values and why this feels deeply fulfilling and sustainable. We have the 6 of Sticks in reverse here, and this is the 6 of Wands in reverse. So I feel like this shifts the focus away from needing recognition. It's about internal victory and fulfillment that doesn't rely on applause. So maybe some of you here run a small sustainable business that feels right, even if it isn't publicly celebrated. Or maybe some of you here choose a flexible job that allows family time instead of chasing promotions. Maybe some of you here find pride in your craft without worrying about outside validation. We also have you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. So I feel like this move aligns with values of care and protection and emotional security. I feel like the true success is creating a foundation that nurtures both you and your loved ones. I remember when I first started my self-employment and entrepreneurship journey, that was my why, something that would nourish both me and my children. Maybe some of you here are drawn to something like that as well. Maybe you want to choose work that allows financial security while also being present at home. Maybe some of you here would want to leave a high risk or unstable industry for one that gives you more peace of mind. Or maybe some of you here are going to be prioritizing emotional well-being in your career decisions. Next, let's talk about the breakthrough opportunity. We'll talk about why timing and readiness matter and what life looks like after saying yes. We have the 4 of Stones, and this is the 4 of Pentacles. So I feel like your timing is going to depend on your willingness to loosen your grip on control. If you cling too tightly to security, you might block growth. And once you let go, stability is going to come in a healthier way. So maybe some of you here invest your savings into your own business instead of clinging to a safe but unfulfilling job. Or maybe some of you here say yes to a collaboration even if it means splitting profits. Maybe some of you here would be drawn to leave a stagnant role for one that's more expansive. We also have get grounded, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. So readiness is going to come when you're rooted mentally and emotionally and physically. And by grounding yourself, you're going to be able to handle growth and abundance without fear. Maybe some of you here are going to be practicing grounding rituals before making big business moves. Or maybe some of you here are going to be managing money responsibly so that success doesn't overwhelm you. Maybe some of you here will be staying calm and steady even when new opportunities accelerate quickly. Let's get some additional information here. We have fire, hawk, and so I feel like the hawk brings this vision and this fire energy to the table. So you are being asked to see from a higher perspective and act with precision when the right moment comes. Maybe some of you here are going to be recognizing an opportunity that others miss because you see the big picture. Maybe some of you here are going to be moving quickly on a chance to step into leadership. Or maybe some of you here are going to be positioning yourself as the visionary in your field. Let's get some astro dice. Let's get more info. We have the North Node in the 8th house. Your life-changing career move is going to come from transformative, shared, or deep work, not surface-level independence. You are going to thrive when you help others evolve or heal or manage resources. I think that the career themes here are psychology, therapy, energy healing, maybe trauma work. I can also see some of you here being drawn to financial advising, things like investments, real estate, maybe inheritance law. I know that's very niche, but it's just what I'm hearing. Maybe even some of you here would be drawn to spiritual mentoring, astrology, death and rebirth work, and maybe even entrepreneurship involving joint ventures, maybe crowdfunding or partnerships. So for example, maybe some of you here are therapists who leave corporate HR to open a trauma healing practice. Or maybe some of you here are YouTubers who build wealth, teaching about shadow work and transformation. Maybe some of you here are financial coaches who help couples merge money and emotional patterns. I can also see some of you here being real estate agents specializing in estate sales or property inheritance transitions. Thank you so much, friends. No matter which pile you chose, remember that the right career move isn't just about work, but it's about creating the life that you dream of. Your shift could come through bold leaps, small pivots, or unexpected opportunities, but the common thread is that it will change everything for you. Let me know which pile you chose and what resonated most in the comments. I love hearing your stories, friends. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who is in need of encouragement today. And if you feel like going deeper, I've got my private readings, my online shop, and my podcast all linked for you below in the description of this video. I'm so honored to be connected with each and every one of you friends here. Lots of love, Title fam. I will see you on the next video. Bye, friends. Love y'all.